Hello and welcome once more to the cold ruins of Lastlife. We're doing yet another session. It's amazing. I am very pleased we're getting to do this. And once again, I'm Jim. I am going to be playing Gregor, the spectral paladin, and I shall go around and we'll all say hello and stuff. And well, yes, we're all undead. That's a big part of it. It's Dungeon World, but we're all undead. And let's go around to Rachel.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel. I use she, her pronouns, and today, as always on this game, I am playing Sivna, the undead hunter who uses they, them pronouns, and they're very cool. They've never done anything wrong ever in their life.
Never. And
or their death.
Oh, sorry.
Or their death.
Or their death, yes, in their life or their own life. Either way. And Charlie.
I'm Charlie, she, her. I'm playing Auden. She is a undead mage.
Excellent. And yes, also I, as in real life, I go by he, him, and Gregor also goes by he, him. And Lloyd is probably going to be joining us in a little bit. So he'll be diving in at some point, hopefully, and we'll do a little quick rearrangement of stuff. We might go to break real quick or something, depending on the timing and all that, and then we'll hopefully have the Legionnaire back at some point during this episode. But in the meantime, let us hand the reins over to our GM, Matthias. Hello.
Hi, I'm Matthias, and I was muted. Him. Welcome to the cold ruins of Lastlife. So I think where we left off last time was that you traveled to the Mired Land. I think this is where nobody has any beginning of session moves, right? Just checking.
So.
Yeah.
Did anybody have any bonds that they needed to rewrite or change?
I already rewrote the one.
Yeah, I think I
Maybe let's go over them quickly so we get like a little reminder of like what your relationships are like. Do you wanna?
Yeah, I'll start.
So,
my bond with Auden is Auden was strange and foreign in the days before the end. Even now, I still find her unnerving and discomforting. My bond with Gregor is... my book just fell off. My bond with Gregor is that Gregor is deluded as to me and what I am. I will find and show him the truth of my history. And my bond with the Legionnaire is the Legionnaire knows more about me and who I was in the days before the end than I do. I will get them to tell me.
Nice. Auden, what are yours like?
Mine are, I remember what a danger the Legionnaire was in the days before the end. I will not let them become that way again. Gregor once knew the secrets of the kingdom. I will try to get those secrets from them somehow. I need them. In the days before the end, Sivna was a noble soul. I will make sure this world doesn't corrupt them. Something along those lines.
Cool.
Those are some imbalanced relationships already. And Gregor.
All right, let me dive over here and look at this. Let me see here. Where are they? There they are. So with Sivna has forgotten their place in the Celestial Order. I will help them realize their potential. That's the one that I rewrote last time. For Auden, Auden gave to me my current weapon in the days before the end. I am sworn to use it in their service. I will uphold that vow. I actually did some of that a little bit last time. I don't know if we've really resolved that one as of yet. And then for the Legionnaire and I once believed in the same ideals in the days before the end. We have diverged now, and I no longer understand them. So that too is a thing.
Nice.
It seems
Nice.
he will be with us momentarily, so we'll get to see how all this goes.
Yeah. So this is how we reach the Mired land. It's a land that's a swampy morass, water washed into dirt, mixed with toxic output of countless arcane devices, all run downhill, all compiled here. Poison seeped into the very land itself and grown into decayed, horrible reeds, accompanied by a nightmarish stench of death and rot. And I think we get this this strange party, probably like with a like seeing you across these lands as like little silhouettes in the fumes of the swamp. And then there's like spots like we can see on the map that are opened up more. Right, those steps that after you raise your foot out of the morass fill with gurgling water. And I think one thing about what this is like is you're at the same time very alone, or let's say it feels very lonely, but you're not alone. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of bodies just under the morass. So that's a thing that you realize. But maybe I want to take a little closer look at that. And if you're up for it, I'd like to go around and get one of those details. How do you realize how many dead are actually lying here? Dormant or whatever? So one detail as we like march across this land. Who has an idea?
I think it's a crunch underfoot, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When you're walking, the ground is so wet and soft, and then suddenly we make contact with something that's much more solid, and they look down, and it's skin and bone and dried weird sinew that breaks under their boots.
It's like a lever where you step on one end and the other hand comes out of the morass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Hey, just getting everything reordered for folks wondering about what's happening with the cameras. Hey, Lloyd.
Hey.
Sorry you had to walk in my description of crunchiness.
Crunchy, yes, but still muted.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're muted, sir.
Hello, sorry, I didn't mean to mute myself. I was just trying to fix my light and not make noise. So, what? Oh God! Ah, shit! Fine. Yeah, that's all right.
All
That's
fine. This is fine. Everything's fine.
good. How are you?
We're all fine here now. How are you?
We're in the middle of crossing the mired land, a swampy morass that's filled with bodies just underneath the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Auden, do you have a detail? That
I was thinking maybe the smell of decay. Like I'm sure like the whole world smells of it, but like it's just heavier here.
Yeah, here it's like heavy and moist and like satiated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe it's strangely warm as well. And Gregor, do you have a detail for us?
That would be excellent, wouldn't it? I think that there are the remains not only of people mired here, but there are some areas that you can that you can see actually go down quite deep, and there are the remains of buildings down there. Like old, like maybe this was like part of a village at one time, and so every now and then you're gonna have like part of a roof sticking up out of the water, and so there's a lot of so that too has become mired and just sort of filled in, and some of that is making up the ground.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, I like that. Like whatever this was before, still open to question whatever happened with this land or what it originally was. Yeah. If it was just a plain, or if it like accompanied entire towns. It's apparently so. And whose towns those, like to what people those towns belong to. Yeah. There's a custom move for this.
I was gonna say, can I roll to recall a lost memory?
Well, what are you? Anytime you remember something, please go ahead.
So I think it happens when I step on that limb and the hand comes up and out of the ground, and I remember being knee deep in the muck, kneeling down, and it's the same place, or if it's not the same place, it's somewhere similar, but the stench of death and decay isn't as strong in the air, but it's still there. And there are leaves on the trees and green to the ground and the earth. Like it's alive, but it's in a state of dying. And that's not the only thing that's in a state of dying, because I'm holding a soldier on my lap. Well, less of a soldier and more of a warrior. They're dressed in not armor, but tartans and leathers and hides. And there's a wound on their stomach, and they're just bleeding out all over me. And I'm trying to stop the bleeding, but it's too severe of a wound and there's nothing I can do. And they're just dying on my lap. So I'm gonna roll and see how that went. All right. That's what I remember. I rolled a 9. So choose one. My recollection is inaccurate. The GM will later reveal what you remembered incorrectly. And your recollection is incomplete. The GM will later reveal a critical truth that you didn't recall. I'm going to say that my recollection is incomplete. So in my memory, I think the last thing that I see is them. I think it's a man, and I can't quite recall his name, but he makes eye contact with me, and then he dies, and we're left sharing this lifeless gaze between the two of us.
And do you have any inkling of who this man was to you?
I think he was a friend, definitely. And that's why the memory is so strong, because I have all these feelings of distress and just being totally distraught over this and not being able to save him. And he's just dying, and I'm powerless.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Remember to mark memory if you haven't yet.
That's the one on the bottom, right?
Yeah, it's the red one.
Fabulous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this. Now, there's also a custom move for the Mired Land. As you're moving in, and this is like this doesn't happen instantly. It's a thing that happens over time. And it's this. When you enter the Mired Land, roll plus con. On a 10+, the fumes and poisons of the swamp bolster your undead form. Take +1 to any attempt to dig into the bog. On a 7 to 9, they leave you confused and disorientated. Take -1 ongoing to study the ruins while you are there. On a miss, mark the ability sick until you have time to recover outside of the Mired Land, and take -1 ongoing to study the ruins. So,
I have an okay con score, I guess. I'm just gonna let's just do this.
Roll?
Okay, that's 7.
That's 7.
What am I doing?
You're rolling
Alright.
plus con.
Okay. I will roll plus con.
All right, Auden. You like it here, I guess.
Do I also roll plus con?
No, you're not there. We'll get to you in a moment. One sec. Yes, I think this makes it clear that to dig into the bog is an actual thing you could do. So keep that in mind if you want to go for that at any point.
And get my magnificent fur cloak dirty.
And I think, yes, so this is how we see you move across the land, right? Now, I think now it's time to jump over and see what actually happened to the Legionnaire. So if you all remember, last we saw the Legionnaire, we left off when you were charging that abomination, that twin torsoed weird thing down in the cellars of the manor. And then what happened is that ground gave way underneath you, and up above you a fiery explosion happened. And the ground giving out underneath you left you falling with this creature, while above you fires engulfed the manor. And then you're falling. And falling into a chasm. What are you doing?
As we're tumbling down into the chasm below, we're spinning over and over, and we try to get some kind of bearing, some kind of hold. We reach out to the empty nothingness around us to grab something, anything to slow our descent.
Yeah. That's definitely a defy danger strength, I think.
Let's do it.
Let's see how this goes.
Where's that defy danger button?
when you actually click on the name of it, I think.
There we go. All right, I got a 10.
Okay, it's not coming up for me yet.
Oh, wait for it. Wait for
There we
it.
go, yeah. Nice. Yeah. So, tell me what you grab onto and how you basically manage to not fall into you definitely fall it's probably a couple of 100 feet. But you manage to catch something and do it reliably, right?
We're tumbling over and over, backwards and forwards. The maelstrom that forms us is already in chaotic form. We can feel parts of us etching to pull itself away. All of us are at some kind of break to figure out which one of us would take control over the situation, until we reach the moment where we realize that no matter what we do, unless we work together, we cannot get there. Our body reforms itself, stabilizes itself, and a single hand reaches out to the nearest thing. It brushes past stone, then some piece of wood, but a hand reaches out and grabs what feels like bone. We hold on to it as hard as we can, and we slam it within the wall. It breaks, so we reach out again to grab something else, and this time we feel the glint of metal. We slam it into the wall, and it starts to slow our descent as we descend further and further and slower and slower and slower and slower, until we're left dangling by a grip on this metal shard stuck within the wall with the abyss wall below us.
Nice. And we see the abomination tumbling into the depths, not knowing where it might end up. Yeah, and I think as you hang there, you can make out whatever this shard of metal that you grabbed onto ripped something out of the wall of the chasm, and there's a gaping hole above you that's been ripped open in the side of the wall. I think you can pull yourself up and into it, and it's not like a tunnel. It's it's almost more like an alleyway. It feels like you take a couple of steps, and there's suddenly there stones, man-made stones underneath you, and part of the walls seem to be part of buildings. It's super narrow though, your shoulders almost scrape at both edges of this alleyway, right? What do you do?
We realize the situation we're in. There may not be a way up, so the only way is forward. For destiny has not decreed that we will die a second time today. With the cave so tiny and frozen in, all we can do is simply just reach out and scrape along the sides, losing parts of us and gaining different ones as we go past bone and metal and stone, using the shard as we can to etch a path for ourselves as we make our way through these ruins that we have found, unsure of what our purpose is, but knowing we need to be somewhere not here.
Mm-hmm. And as you move forward, you definitely notice this. This is not just a single alleyway. You move and you find other intersecting narrow streets down below in the earth here. There's one time where you notice, a little bit of movement, and it scurries away. And you find yourself in what seems to be like a maze of narrow streets, all intersecting.
Before I continue, these houses, what are they made of?
Yeah. I think you're definitely studying the ruins of Lastlife now, right? That's this game's discern realities move.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think it should be in your character sheet as well.
Yep. Let me take a look. Boop. Whee. Okay. Where are you? What's it called?
Study the ruins, right?
I don't seem to have it on mine. Oh, there it is. I was wrong. All right. When you study the rooms, roll plus wisdom. Fail.
Okay. Yeah. Take an XP.
Woo.
So you take a look at these seem to be like buildings and like actual buildings. Then they like always seem to reach a ceiling that's just earth and rock. I think there's one where you're going and you find a door. The door seems to be closed, and we see you like not paying like a second thought to it, just ripping the door off, but only to, or it probably more not off in, right? It's like a fist of chunky armor that goes into the door, but then just pulls out more earth and rock that's behind it instead of the emptiness of rooms or anything. And I think that's when you come across a as you move on, there's suddenly what you can make out a warm glow, reddish glow up ahead of you. And as you move towards it, because there's no other significant markers of where else to go, you see someone in the streets. Didn't think we had here this quickly. One sec, I've got a picture.
Take your time. No pressure.
Yep, this is it. Put it here on the side. This is what she seems to look like. Her hands are flame. Do you see that on the side here? Like wearing a wide brimmed hat and almost more like floating over the ground than actually taking steps. She doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Then I shall make my presence known. I step forward. I do not declare who I am, but I make it very loud and very prominent that I am arriving. I do not come with arms raised like in a fight. My hands are below me and beside to my side, but we walk up loudly and very much showing that we are here, but we do not speak.
And she turns and she's, my, I would have expected you here. I was wondering where you might be. Look at you, so beautiful. It's like the fire around her hands lights up to spread more light, right? And she holds it up like this and steps closer.
We do not move back. We step close enough to be seen by the light.
Yeah.
If you have summoned us, then we have come. But if you mean us ill, then I can only feel sorry for you.
Oh my, yes, so beautiful. And she starts like walking around you, like inspecting you and taking a proper look at you, and seems to be completely fascinated. Only half hearing your words and being like, not quite summoned, but where are the others? They can't be dead. They can't be snuffed out yet. Not by that little bit of fire. Can they?
Explain what you mean by others.
You didn't see others with you?
I recall one for whom I owe a favor, for freeing me from the prison I was living in.
One. Tell me about them, will you?
The Legionnaire sort of pauses and tries to sort of look back. You can see them all sort of recalling, doing their best. Their voice was marred, like one who had swam too much. Their skin sunken and leathered, like one who had tanned too much. But they spoke the truth, and they led the way. That's why I'm here with you today.
Did you recognize who it was? Or do you have no idea?
He pauses and he's sort of like, you see something is conflicting within him, but he can't seem to get them to recall it presently. He goes, no, I do not.
Are you lying?
No, he genuinely isn't sure. He spent such little time with I can never pronounce your name.
Sivna,
that he can't picture or put it through. All he did was get freed, thank her, and break down the wall. The memory of her isn't right because it doesn't match up with what he has.
Yeah, so because I'm asking if your memory of them is more than just the memory you had from the dungeon where you were chained up.
Yeah, I think during that game, Sivna had a memory of me, but I didn't have a memory of her.
Of them, yeah.
Yeah, so of them. So I didn't get to remember what they had. So we do not have a memory of her.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, that's correct. From in the session stuff. What I'm more asking about is now in a different situation.
I've had time to think about it.
Do you recall something from before the end of days, basically? You don't have to.
No. You know what? We're doing this. We're going on. I am in the session. We are doing this. So I'm just. I'll go with.
But you're not like. So this is two parts, right? There's potentially something that you remember about Sivna, and there's this part of, are you telling this to? Like, are you keeping this from her? I sort of, so just to go back, we look down and then up. And then we look over at the woman with the flames in her hand. And we say, we may not recall all that is to do with the one we saw. But some of us remember her by a different name. Whether that name is true or not remains to be seen. The mother of all wars. Okay, you have to you have to roll recall a memory, I think it's called.
Yep, let's do it. Recall a lost memory. And here comes another XP. Boom. Oh, yep, got it.
Indeed, yeah.
Got it.
And I think she cocks her head, looks at you. No. Strange. You must be recalling someone else. You're the one you're recalling. You're thinking of, it's actually me! And she bursts out into flames and into like quadruple her size. What do?
Bruh, I think you need to chill, love. I mean, just calm down. Let's talk about this. No, well, if she wants to have a fight with the Legionnaire's got to go swinging. The Legionnaire will stand there. They will not react. But inside there is turmoil because not everyone is a badass. But together we stay sullen. And one foot goes back to brace themselves as they look up towards the creature that's exploded. Then they go, if it is a fight you want with the mother of all wars, then it's a fight you will get. But if it is not, then get out of my way and do not cross paths with me again.
And she cackles, and suddenly, like all around you, explosions start erupting. I think you're going to take a D10 damage here.
Let's do it. I'm gonna take her out after that. Let's go.
So roll me a D10.
Okie doke. Give me 1 second. Would you say I deliberately just took the full blunt of that attack without just took it?
Yeah.
Because if you did, then my move trigger is that all you've got? When you deliberately take the full blunt of an attack, roll con.
Yeah, first like do the damage and then do the move. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. 9. Yeah. All right. Does armor count for this?
Yes. What actually happens here is like you're standing in the full blast of the eruption of fire that she conjures up around you, and it's like it's not just one, it's like a multitude, and it's like lasting heat and flame. We see like edges of your armor actually starting to glow. The metal starts to heat up, right? So you took those 9 minus your armor.
Mm-hmm. And then my move will trigger, hopefully.
And then you move triggers, yes.
All right, let's see what happens.
Do you want to read the move to us first?
Yes. When you deliberately take the full blunt of an attack, roll con. I am now about to roll con. And wish me luck, everyone. This could go horribly wrong. 8. And it says right there, pick one from the list. From the description, I'm going to go for my lack of reaction infuriates or terrifies the enemy. I don't think I get to choose. I think the enemy gets to choose which one it is.
Yeah, I think she's like...
But to describe it, the flames come up, completely surround me. I'm completely and utterly within the flames. I can feel myself burning. And then I take a step forward out of it. My body is still singeing. My armor is still... Our armor is still caked in heat. And then we can feel ourselves cooking on the inside. But we do not react because we do not bow to our lessers. And we stand there and stare up at her. waiting patiently and looking her in the face.
Yeah, and she's put her hands into her hips, right, and is now leaning down like you would from a fables book, when a child gets scolded, right? She's leaning down, getting super close to what feels like is or representative of your face, helmet, or and she's that you would not recognize me. How dare they? And you know that she reaches up again, and there's gonna be another. She's gonna summon fire again out of
not
fury. What do you
I'm
do?
going to charge her and like basically just slam into as hard as I can.
Sure.
I hope this works. The rest of you guys, please don't mind. I have my like one-on-one fight. It's very important. I finish this. Like this is important to me.
So good.
I'm just going to charge into her. I don't think she's an obstacle. I think it's just a straight up just hack and slash. I think. Is that fair? I don't think she's an obstacle because I look at I use Juggernaut, but she's not really an obstacle. She's just there. I'm just slamming into her as hard as I can.
Yeah, give me a hack and slash, yes.
Woo! So good at this.
And that's the thing, like a being of like fire is immaterial in that sense, right? So you pass straight through, but not before you like actually in your charge into her. Also have to suffer the heat of her being. So it's another D10.
Woo! Watch me run another 9. Oh, 5's not bad. I'll take 5.
And so you crash into her. There's flames all around you, and you hit something, which is probably a building on the other side. And you turn around again, and there's fire everywhere, and take a step to get out of the fire, but you're still in the fire. And I think this is where we're gonna go to a break here.
So we're breaking, yes?
Yes, sorry.
All right, yes.
Was a little bit with a little.
Yeah, no, that was unbelievably dramatic, and I'm yeah. I may need a cigarette in a moment. All right, folks, we're going to go to a quick break, like 5-10 minutes, something like that, and then we'll be back. Awesome. Hey, we're back.
Yeah, and as we come back, we see again the overhung, the mist overhung land of the Mired land, and we see. Do we want to give a description again of what you all actually look like as you move across here?
Yeah, it has been a little while.
Just to remind, Gregor is in armor, right?
Yeah. So basically, my character is most of what you ever see of him is in the armor. It's sort of very sort of black and silverish, sort of dinged up, sort of dark armor that was wondrous at one time, and nowadays is perhaps somewhat less wondrous.
And if this were a computer game, one of the distinct things in your silhouette would be that you're shouldering a halberd, right? Is that correct? So that's what I'm imagining. Definitely that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically got a big sort of halberd, big polearm, axe polearm with a. You probably will briefly, if it were a quick close up, you might pass by and see the symbol of a gardenia emblazoned on the blade of the axe, and it is. I am visible within the armor. It doesn't cover me completely, but what I am on the inside is just a very haggard looking person. Can sometimes I appear solid, sometimes I appear less so. Sometimes you can barely see me. Depends on what it is, but I usually have the two blue pinpricks right in front of my eyes going off.
And the other one that you would definitely notice right away is Auden, right?
Yes, because she's much more preserved than some of the others. She was frozen, so she has a very uncanny blue tint to her, and she wears strange clothing.
By the way, is it when you actually we're crossing this swampy land, and when you step into what for anybody else would amount to sinking calf deep into the morass, it just freezes underneath you and you have a solid step on frozen ice?
Yeah, I am Elsa.
I think this goes well with your 10 plus on the Maya land, that you're not really bothered by any of this. Yeah, I like that.
I do too.
And then there's Sivna, right?
Yeah, I think I blend almost uncannily into the landscape.
Yeah.
With my dark stained skin and the hollow of my eyes and my mouth.
And I think your confusion comes less from being the land, from being weirded out by the land, to being more I can't tell where I end and where this land begins.
Yeah.
Right. So if you would be studying the ruins, that's where the -1 would come from, because it's too familiar almost.
It's I'm seeing when you look at pictures and it's been double exposed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm seeing. That's what my head is doing.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And then there's the fiddler walking with you, right? You made a friend last time. Who's the fiddler following?
I feel considering that I was the one, who kind of reached out to the fiddler.
Yeah.
And talked to them. I think they're following me. It's him, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
They've imprinted on Sibna like a baby duck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you wouldn't know it, you can't really tell them apart from any hollow that you might come across, except that there is this glint in his eyes that's really unusual for someone undead. There's still something, as if something's still alive within him.
His love of
Sad.
music
Looks at you.
never dies.
He's on a quest to find the lost violin. Strange. You must be recalling someone else. And as we see you move across the land, there is you come upon like one landmark, which is on a slightly raised hill. Seems to be like a building of some kind or a ruin. And from afar already, it seems to be flanked by 4 very spindly pillars. As you approach and come closer, those pillars definitely turn out not to be pillars as such, but actual figures that are very like they're like 8 foot tall or something like that, and or 8 to 9 foot tall. They seem to be only made out of bones, but often very like they don't have a skull on top. It's more a bony structure that extends in like a farce of a face, basically. But you're still like ways off, and they seem to just stand there. They could just be statues from this distance. What do you do? Or does anybody halt, actually? I'm kind of picturing Gregor to be point.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Well, unless the only exception with that to be is if Sivna was intending to scout for that. So I mean, it's however we set up our overland travel thing. But yeah, I'd be first defense. I'd try to guard.
You're the point of the group, though. Even if Sivna was out.
No, I was gonna say like I probably would have started with leading you guys, but as I like looked around and became more disoriented, I would have fallen back in the group and been like looking around, not as determinedly moving, as kind of distracted by everything.
Yeah, so I probably would have definitely been up front doing the paladin thing. So actually, at the moment I see those figures up ahead, I will I'll just sort of raise a hand and just sort of signal for us to kind of slow down a bit as we're seeing these things there unmoving thus far. Is this so? It's very much sort of very crunchy land, but sort of also fairly as far as there's not really much in between. As far as cover goes, there's really nothing between.
No, there's maybe like a dead tree.
Yeah. Quick, everyone behind the dead tree. So I'm going to start moving ahead. Just still, I think still approaching, but just more, a little more cautiously, more slowly, just to watch them for any sudden movements.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Sivna sees these things, and they kneel down, they crouch into like the kind of crouch we've got one knee down and the other up, and they dig their hand into the muck.
Nice. Okay.
But just looking and trying to kind of almost like connect to the earth to kind of feel through the earth to these guys. I'm going to try and roll study the ruins.
No.
To try and no, is that community? What?
No, that's a special thing you're doing right now. I'll get to that in a moment. Yes, I've got a move for you there. You're triggering a move.
Oh, great!
Unbeknownst to you. But that's cool. But it sounded like Gregor might be studying the ruins by approaching carefully, closely, and watching.
Okay.
So 1 second though. Let's get both of those rolls like.
Who first?
1 sec. I need to show the move first, I think.
I was like, I don't even know what I'm rolling.
Oh god.
It's going to be a plus strength.
Oh. That's interesting. All right.
It perfectly described what you were doing there with like digging into them into the book.
Yeah, well, that wasn't what I was trying to do, but it was what I ended up doing.
Nice.
Isn't it?
I think so. And Gregor, you're rolling with -1, right? For study.
Yes, that's right. Because I didn't not succeed on that roll. All right. Well,
let's roll what I do first, because that might end up affecting what you end up doing.
I think I would like to get both rolls down before actually resolving what they mean. So
okay. Well.
Oh, that's such a good roll. That's so good. All
nice.
Right. Let me.
Oh, darn.
Let me find. Oh wait, no, not that. This, yes. Let me move off of that screen so I stop messing that up. There we go. And leaping over here. Yeah. Here, there you go. There you go. Now we can all see it. All right. I am studying the ruins with a -1. So just put. Let's do that. -1. There. Let's try that. See how that comes out.
Nice.
Yep.
We're just a couple of dumbasses.
XP. I think I have enough to level now.
So two things, and I think we see this from Auden. We see this from your point of view. Two things happen kind of simultaneously. You probably paid enough attention to see like Sivna crouched down to like in the corner of your eye, right? And you see Gregor take his halberd and march forward, ready for anything. When where Gregor's standing, the ground erupts, and where Sivna was kneeling, they get pulled into the muck, and like are gone.
Oh, that's
yeah. I think
Auden sighs audibly.
Gregor, you're thrown back by an unseen force, and the four figures that were standing there, suddenly there's something in their chest that like a fire that erupts there, and they raise their heads and they pick up their blades and they look around towards you. What do you do, Auden?
I guess she would try to get Sivna out of the muck.
Sivna's gone, like swallowed by the muck.
But I can't like dig to find them.
Yeah, you can go scurry up in there. What does this look like if you like Are you getting yourself dirty?
Guess
Are
I
you
gotta.
throwing yourself into the muck where like Sivna was pulled down into it?
Yeah, I guess. That's what she's doing.
All right. The closest one starts marching towards you. Gregor, what do? Are you picking yourself up?
I think so. I got thrown back, right?
Yeah, you got thrown back, and you have no idea what else like going on currently.
Okay.
You just see this thing is like drawing you guys.
Yeah, that's. I assume this is the thing that I'm seeing here. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's delightful. Okay. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stand up and seeing that Auden is going after Sivna, I'm going.
You don't know what she's going after.
Well,
she's like suddenly down in the dirt, in the muck, not knowing what's going on there.
Yeah, I presume there's did it look to me as though Auden like dived down there deliberately, or does it look as though she did to me as though she was also pulled, or was I not even looking in that direction?
Yeah, you didn't notice what you don't know what's happening, what she's doing there and why.
All right. That being the case, it's like quite suddenly there's nobody there behind me, and I only have these creatures in front of me, and I do have an imperative to deal with them, and I presume.
Well, here's what happens.
Yeah.
Like this thing, with those slow movements, marches, right, and is still like 15 paces away when it suddenly jumps and brings its blade down upon you. What do you do?
Okay, well, I'm going to try to block and then come around and hack from.
All right, that's definitely a defy danger strength to.
Yeah. All right.
Meet its blow.
Do. Defy danger. Okay, it'll ask me. There we go. That's wonderful.
The
XP today.
So here's what happens: you bring up your halberd, right, and the glowing blade of this creature cuts right through it.
Oh,
and into you. That's the better one of 2d6 as damage that you take from that.
Okay, so the better of 2d6.
Yes.
Okay. So by better, do we mean higher, or do we mean?
Yes.
Okay, so I take 4 damage.
Yes.
All right.
Armor counts though.
Oh, okay, that's right. I'd forgotten about that. Wait a minute.
So it's not that much, right? You probably get less hurt and more thrown back again with like a dent in your arm or something like that. Yeah. And it moves to like immediately swing again. It's definitely either way. It's going to have range on you now. What's this like, Auden, digging into the muck?
I guess she's just going at the place where Sidna was pulled in.
Yeah. I mean, you're digging into the muck now too, so yeah. I think you got to roll that move. But you get a bonus, right?
I don't think on strength.
No, you get a bonus because of the other move, because you rolled a 10 plus. Yeah. The fumes and poisons of the swamp bolster your undead form take +1 to any attempt to dig into the bog. But it's still a 9. So, on a hit you pull free something valuable. Choose one.
Oh, Sebna. Is she valuable
enough to pull out? We'll be grateful.
A denizen of Lastlife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah, I
pull
think
them out.
you dig in, and it goes further than you would have expected. And there's this, like, I think you need to even use your magic to not be pulled in yourself, and like you in part freeze the ground until you grasp an arm, and the arm grasps back at yours.
God, I hope it's them.
And that's when we see like this whatever guardian it is take its swing at Gregor again, or like another one of those running leaps, and as it like leaps into the camera, it's fiery hard. We're suddenly back in the fires in which is a Legionnaire is standing. Legionnaire, what are you doing to get out of the seat that seems to be engulfing you all around you?
All right, trying to get through this by punching is not going to work because this creature is made of fire. I can't punch. As much as I love to, I can't punch fire. So maybe I can do something else. I've got to get somewhere where I can get a clearer shot. Can I try and move away?
Yeah, because you don't even know if you're in the creature or if you're in its fire somewhere.
All right.
Right.
I don't know what's going on, but I do know if there's a wall in front of me, I can charge through that. So I'm going to juggle my way in a straight line through everything to try and get to the side, get away from the fire.
Yes, please do your Juggernaut move.
Okay, here we go. Woo!
What's the result?
Let's see.
Nice.
So when you smash an obstacle, brick wall, group of people, pillar spot in the tavern, the usual, roll strength. Rolled. On a 10 plus, choose 2. And I will choose, my momentum carries me through.
Yeah.
I don't really care about destroying the thing, so I don't take any damage from doing it, and my momentum carries me through.
Nice. Yes. I think we get this where you're like, you do it. So what you manage to do is we see like all your armor bits are in this orange fiery glow, and you're just punching it, like going through the flames, whatever, like there's no whatever else you're hitting, if it's the wall, if it's buildings, you're just going through it. And I think at one point it's definitely just you're going through earth and rock, and you're losing, you're getting away from the flames. And you picked, the other one was you don't take any damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're getting away, and there's flames and howling behind you, but she's not chasing you. And you end up in some dark cavern. I mean, you have a sense of your surroundings, but you're not reliant on light as such to see, but it's just a dark cavern.
All right. I don't know how long I have until this creature tries to come again, and I want to make sure I'm prepared. So I'm going to either try and find a vantage point or a way out of here.
Yeah. That sounds like you're studying the ruins.
Right, let's do it. Right, here comes another natural one. Love the XP. Got it. Yep. Got it.
Nice. Yeah, so you're in the dark and you continue onwards, trying to find a place or space or something. And we'll get back to you right in a second. How are we doing up here?
I would say not great generally.
It's coming for you, Gregor.
Oh, well, I actually, what I would like to do is, seeing how it sprang the first time, when now hefting my axe, hefting my what used to be a halberd, and I'm now treating more like an axe, which I wield. I throw away the lower bit, and I keep the top bit, and I just sort of take a stance, and make ready, and when it springs, I'm going to run forward, try to duck under it, and try to hack off a limb.
Well, that's definitely first to defy danger to maneuver under its range, and it's defy danger dexterity here.
Oh boy, here we go.
When you're describing it,
I'm so good at dexterity. Here we go. Not the worst thing in the world, but not great. Stumble, hesitate, or flinch.
Is it? I think you just do it.
Oh,
I think you actually... What?
I rolled a 9.
Yes.
And so I
You still...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You do it. Like we see you in the last minute ducking underneath it, using the blade, the axe blade of your halberd, to hook underneath underneath its arm.
Mm.
And you rip that off. It goes flying, and you like skirt to a stop, whirl around for like either its next attack or your opportunity. Right? There's like flames coming out of its shoulder. When you like hear behind you the eruption of like 3 more fires. And the rest of them come alive. Auden, you grab an arm and you're pulling it, right? And you're pulling Sivna out of the muck.
Hopefully. I'm a weak girl, but...
Oh, Fiddler, by the way, is hiding behind the one dead tree.
Glad we found use for that tree.
Legionnaire, you come across like the only exit in the cavern, and you move along it. There's like still flames billowing behind the new entryway that you formed. So that place seems to be cut off. And as you follow the cavern, you come across what amounts to a wall. There's like a wall like a brick wall in the dirt.
I'm sorry. All I hear is there's an obstacle in my way that I need to crush through. Right? That's what you're saying, right? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, and you take the first blow to it, and you punch right through it, and you're met with dark black water that gushes into this cavern, like almost immediately.
I am not having a good day today, boys.
No, but you found the way that's probably very close to the ocean, the black inky ocean, and it's spilling into here now. Is there anything else you want to do before you drown?
Yes, I would like to ride. I mean, this is a solution to a problem I have. There is a fire creature that way, and there's water that way. I'm gonna ride the water that way to the fire creature. We're going to drown it.
Nice. So you're like punching the hole larger, so there's
Yeah,
Actual.
I'm gonna keep doing it until there's a giant hole, and I'm gonna ride the water down. I just realized, do I even need to breathe?
Might still kill you.
Yeah, true, fair dues. Never mind. I'm gonna punch as much as I can to make a big hole and splash the place with water.
Roll me Defy Danger plus Strength.
Fingers crossed. Come on, Lloyd, listen. Defy Danger, listen. Just one time. Just roll me a dice. That's not number 6. Okay, come on. 9. I'll take a 9.
Okay. You do it. The water gushes into here. Here's the choice I'm going to give. You can either the way maybe you open this up so much that there's like a true flash flooding of this black inky ocean water into the narrow streets down here, and take her by surprise and actually manage to hurt this creature. But you'll die. Or she'll just be furiously chased away.
I don't know what makes more sense in a narrative. If I can take her down, I'll probably gladly die to do it. But narrative-wise, I feel the mother of all war should come back again, so I don't want to take that away from being used.
Yeah, you won't kill her, but you definitely like severely hurt her, and she'll need to retreat. And she's not going to be a problem anytime soon again for you.
And that's if I die, right?
Yes.
But if I don't die, she'll just leave.
She won't attack you in this water. Yeah.
So I want to find out, if I die, she'll leave. If I don't die, she'll also leave.
Yeah, but one
Maybe
is like
less. She'll leave less.
She'll leave you alone for the moment. Yeah, but you severely hurt her if you die. If you basically drown and flood this entire underwater city, whatever it is, she'll have problems escaping and it's going to be severely hurt by the black inky waters that are the ocean beyond.
It's fine. I choose to die to take her out. It's fine. I'll do it.
How does this look like?
All right. So I punch through the wall and I realize the whole place is flooding. We cut to a shot outside where we see her building up her power to follow me within. She starts to see something approaching and she flames up as much as she can to get ready for it. But what she doesn't realize that it's actually just the waters coming towards her. She in her shock, the first wave hits and the flame starts to down and she starts to like lift herself up to become bigger and brighter and burn the things away. But she doesn't see our hands reach up from the water and grab her and drag her underneath within it. All we see at the top are bubbles upon bubbles upon bubbles, then steam rising, and then nothing.
Yeah. By the way, this is the explosion of steam that threw you back, Gregor.
Ah.
We now connect those two things as an audience.
So that's where those caverns went.
Way down somewhere else, right? Awesome. And we see Legionnaire sink to the depths into the shadows of those. Okay, what? Sivna, you're pulled free by Auden. What are you two doing? You see that Gregor has like taken the arm off one of those things, infuriating it more, and the three other ones have awoken behind him.
I'm just looking at my moose. No. Let's do I still have my weapons on me? Oh, my bow and arrow?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm going to scramble very ungracefully to my feet. Dripping, I'm guessing. Just coated in muck. And I'm going to slide my bow off of my back, and I'm going to knock an arrow and aim it at probably the least fiery part of these skeleton bony things, because I figure they're gonna burn up my arrows if I put them too close to where the heat is. So somewhere where it's solid and somewhere where it's bone.
Like the spine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So you're going for volley here. What are you doing, Auden? Don't roll yet.
Yeah.
I got muted somehow. Can she, with one hand, like shoot a blast of cool air at Sibna to kind of like blow off a little bit of the muck on them, and then she's being considerate. It's like a cold blow dryer. And then I want to try to send a like shard of ice to attack whatever one is near Gregor.
Yeah, you got to move for that, right?
Cast a spell, I guess.
Well, cast a spell to something more specific. It's
Okay.
That's when you weave a spell to help solve a problem.
What
Because
about
there
aid or
is-
interfere?
Yeah, you're aiding and interfering in basically in Sivna's volley. I can see that. You're just throwing like particles of ice at this creature.
Yeah, like just sending a kind of like an ice dagger.
And Sivna, you're like, what you're doing is like volley is always not just one shot; it's the continuation of multiple ones, right? And Gregor, what are you doing?
I am seeing the just hearing them behind me and knowing it's going to probably, and what they're about probably to do. I'm just going to try to run toward the one that I see as most vulnerable and press the attack on it so that I can get closer, possibly use it for cover if need be, if it comes down to, and but mostly just running forward to try to hack at it again.
Yeah, that's a hack and slash. So we get these other three are like doing these jumping leaps forward to attack you, and you're getting in on the one that's that you took the arm off already. That's the most vulnerable one, and we see shots from Sivna and Auden come raining in. So, Auden, you got to roll first because yours is a help or interfere. You do it. You get +1, Sivna, to your roll, and let's get that hack and slash from Gregor and volley from Sivna down.
Woohoo!
That was good.
Thank you.
Ah!
All right. So I roll my damage, right?
Yes, you both do.
All right, deal their damage.
And tell me how this goes down, because you're unabashedly on the attack and also defending, unless Gregor chooses the +1 d6.
I am going to choose the +1 d6. Partially because it's against someone with only one arm, but also because I think it looks cooler.
I mean, this opens you up for the attack from the others as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Yeah. If they're that close, then I'll just do my damage.
Do it.
I'll just do my damage. Let me see.
That's your class damage that you rolled?
Yeah, well, it's a D10, but I got a 4.
And you wanted to take the extra one?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know I kind of said it and then sort of changed my mind ahead of time because I was like, I didn't realize how close they were. So I'm not gonna take backsies at this point. So yeah, I just thought I had changed my mind just before I rolled, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that.
Okay. And Sivna? Your damage. Yeah. Tell me how you three destroy one of those things.
I think
While avoiding the danger of the other three. Sorry.
I would say what happens to... So you're aiming at the one that has the arm already off, correct?
I am, yeah.
So I think here's what happens for me is that I draw and I lodge arrows in like vulnerable joints. So there's one at the base of their neck, and there's one at the base of their shoulder, and there's one like at the point where its spine meets its pelvic bone area. And when you see these arrows hit, you can kind of see them wedge open the bone and exposing this weakness to you.
So yeah, I will definitely take advantage of that. Leap forward and decapitate this thing if I can. Sort of jumping up and.
Definitely, you can, right? You decapitate it. It's whatever this weird head it has. It goes flying off, right? Its weapon still comes down on you, and then, but like, is hindered by the arrow sticking in its joints. It's slowed, and then there's like this frost forming on its, cooling off its blade. We see like Auden's concentrated view. Is that correct? Does that feel right to you, Auden?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like basically disarming it as well as it's like, and then slowly starts like crumbling apart.
As it does so, may I take the opportunity to wrench the frozen blade from its hand with my offhand?
Sure.
I will do that. For I'm using 2 of these things, and I'm preparing to do something with it.
Yeah, there are 3 more left. What are you doing? They're coming for you, Gregor.
I wheel around with now a thing in each hand as they come, and very quickly as they. Whichever one is in the lead, I'm waiting for it to start to. I'm going to aim, and I'm going to use again an attribute I'm not great at, but watching it come forward, wait until figuring out where it's going to be at the apex of its leap. I'm going to reach back with the frozen sword and hurl it to try to pin it through the chest as it's leaping up.
Nice, I like that. Does sound like. Defy danger dexterity.
Okay. Let's see how we do. Not great.
I mean, yeah, you hurl it, right? And I think you hit. It gets lodged somewhere in its chest, but oh no, I think you actually hit it and penetrate, but there's this hiss and this immediate glow, and now it's got like a blade stuck in it that's starting to glow again. But it comes down and hits you, and as you're being hit and you stumble back, like the other two also jump you. So roll 2d6, the better of them again, and +2 this time.
Okay. Did we heal during the previous that rest that we had taken during the previous session, or does that not work that way?
If you didn't, then you didn't.
Well, I'm not even sure if I was using the armor properly initially, but I forget how many points it was, so that's fine.
So it's 8.
So it's going to be 8. No, yeah. Yep. All right. So yeah, with the armor that's 6, and so still
all 3 are upon you. On.
Like, how are they surrounding him? Like, are they in front of him or like all around him?
They're like it's not a perfect triangle in that sense, right? They're like spread around in front of him. It's like when you get masked by 3 enemies in Dark Souls and like he's starting to stand up again, the next one hits you. That's the thing that's happening.
Can she try to freeze them?
That definitely, yes. What would this look like? Trying to freeze them, like to hold them in place?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like
freezing the pools they step into.
Yeah, and having like the ice go up, like their forms to hold them in.
Yeah, I mean that definitely sounds like you're trying to solve a problem, but casting a spell takes a little bit of time and to catch them. So you're weaving your spell to solve a problem. Keep that roll ready for just this one moment. What are the other two doing?
This is dumb. I'm not going to attack, and I'm going to just try and plant myself in the earth and try to connect in some weird way to these creatures, these guardians. And I'm going to try rolling Communion of Whispers to see if I can get any kind of communication going, or just to know like what these things are or what they're doing here.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, wait. Well, it's okay that you rolled.
Yeah.
But and Gregor, what are you doing?
So
are you engaging them, or are you just?
These things are big, yeah.
Yeah, they're like 9 feet tall.
Okay, so I'm going to try to use that to my advantage in the ducking portion. But at one point, I wanted, as coming out of a duck, I would like to reach up, grab the hilt of the sword that's starting to fire up again that I left in the chest, pull it out as I'm turning, using it to block and hacking with the axe.
Yeah. Okay. Then let's get that hack and slash and that cast a spell roll down, please. Okay. Nice. What's your decision, Gregor?
I think that move probably did expose me to the enemy's attacks. So I'm gonna, yay! Though I have fewer hit points now, I'm going to go ahead and go for that extra d6 of damage.
Mm-hmm. Get that damage in, and Auden.
And I'm glad I did.
So that's it's going to be 7 damage. And you're taking the best of 2d6 plus 2 again.
Okay.
Auden, you have to choose one of those things. Either your spell won't last long, or
I was thinking maybe like the second one.
second one. Nice. Yes, I think yes, that's perfect. Thank you. I think. Or do you want to describe what this looks like? You casting your ice magic and how that feels to you, or do you want me to do that?
I can just see it like where they're standing, just the ice forming around.
And just like Auden in like full concentration, or what's like your spell casting look like? Are you like doing like forms in the air, or are you like being an ice bender?
And now I think she's like, she has her eyes closed and she has her hands out and she's just concentrating on it.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I like that. So here's what happens. Wait 1 second. I need to take a look at Sivna's roll. What did you move? Yeah, I can. I'll give you that information afterwards. It takes time when you spend time. It says, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's what happens in the moment, right? Gregor, you do that. You basically rip out like its entire rib cage, and it goes flying. And there's like only this magical fire that's still like keeping it somehow together. While the other ones barrel down on you until the point where like you just barely manage to step back one step, and one of them stabs down in front of you, and then you're hit by the other one, and you severely hurt, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty down there.
Yeah, and you fly into the muck, and you get up again to ready yourself for the next one when you feel like this grip on your legs, and you see it spread, and you see the other 3 also being gripped by the ice, and they're standing there and like trying to move, and they can't, but you can't either. So we've got like the standoffish thing where they're like, you're all like just barely out of reach in this and how you're positioned, right? The fires in their chest is like way it's like too far away to have any effect on the magically commanded ice from Auden that's gripped the swamp here and frozen shut around your basically boots up to your calves. Yes.
Okay.
And Sivna, this is where you're I think the visions here is yes, they do not belong. They do not belong. They're more like, they're less like guardians of the place, like that's up on this little rise behind it, right? The ruin there. Then they were like prison keepers, though it's not a prison. Like they were put here by some other being, by some other party. They are not part of the swamp. They do not belong here. And how do we imagine you gaining this knowledge? What are these whispers?
I think that there's a certain shape and a certain color to the spirits of this place. Like the spirits of this place, I don't know, they feel naturalistic, but also kind of a little bit deformed.
Mm-hmm. They come up in the fumes and the mists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They feel, well, they feel not organic in a way, and the way that the spirits or whatever the shape of these is in the arena of my like spirit vision, it's like everything is too rigid, like right angled, and while everything else is in shades of like brown and red and green, these are just white, and they don't have the gaseous and the toxic nature of like the rest of the mired land. They're stripped and almost sterilized.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And with this, what shall we call it? What do you call it? What's the word for it? I'm blanking here.
Like my vision, or
when neither side wins.
Oh yeah, like a draw.
A draw.
Yeah, with this draw, the stalemate. Because you're kept by the ice. If Auden lets go of the ice, those three things are on Gregor again.
I have got an idea, though.
You want to save that for after the break?
I will save that for after the break. It's a terrible idea, by the way, but we'll see.
Oh, those are the best ones.
Indeed they are. All right, then. So shall we go ahead and go to break then?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We will go ahead and go to break once more, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
5 minutes.
About 5 minutes. All right. See you shortly. We're back.
All right.
I just started playing without like telling Jim that we needed to go back right now.
Sorry, I wasn't sure.
It happens, I think. Yeah, Sevna, you're in your visions. The lands give you, that they whisper to you.
Yeah, I don't know which one I want to have is the thing, is if I want to know more about the ruins or if I want to know more about myself. I don't know if I'm ready to answer questions right now, so I'm gonna roll study the ruins, I think. As I'm caught up in these visions. So I take -1 forward, right?
Yes, and you're getting a feel for what lies ahead.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely feels familiar, but yeah, give us your role here.
No.
It feels familiar because it's a familiar fear. You're terrified of what's in that ruin. And I think you get completely caught up in that terror right now. I think you sink to the ground, and it's not even like a terror where you're like, oh no, I need to get away from this. It's like it's a completely, oh no, not this. This can't be it, right? It's not a fear for your life or anything. It's just the grip of, no, this can't be.
Yeah, I think I'm just knees on the ground and my bow, my hand is gripped tight around my bow, but I can't physically lift it.
And as we focus in on that, on your expression, there's a thing we need to roll for the Legionnaire. And because you died, but in this game, there's no last breath move. Instead, there is the Dead Awakening move that you need to roll when you die. It should be on your sheet.
Okay, guys, here we go. Natural ones coming up. Got it. Yep. Got it.
On a miss, you're restored with 1 hit point. And you need to pick one from the list.
So I can either permanently lose 1 bond, permanently mark an ability, or permanently close off 1 radiance and 1 memory advance, and I can never take those advancements. I'm gonna grab one of that one.
Yeah, and you can decide afterwards.
I haven't even remotely gotten close to getting one of those yet. So.
Yeah. And so as we focus on Sivna, your eyes are also mummified, right?
There's nothing there. It's just
okay. Then
there's
as we
eyelids.
Yeah,
but there's nothing inside.
As we close in to your eyelids, then we draw back out again. Then we suddenly see this glimmer, and then we draw back out again, and we move out of the strange helmeted head of Legionnaire. As when you die, you return to the place you were last awakened. So you're chained to a wall, like you were when you first woke up. Only in front of you is not your cell, there's the dark chasm and the ruins of the manor. But you're chained up with 1 hit point. What do you do?
Well, I guess I'll go right back to what I started before. I start raging and screaming. We start raging and screaming. We start trying to pull ourselves off the wall. Is there nothing beneath us? Is it just a chasm?
There's now there's a chasm beneath you, and the rushing of water.
Great. Well, I will continue to try and pull myself away from the wall, but I'll be looking for handholds or something to climb up to get out of the chasm.
Yeah, like the structural integrity of this wall is not anymore. So I think you could. Yeah, I don't think there's a question if you can do this. I think you rip your chains to the wall off and swing around and grab onto it and like climb up it into like over the ruin of this wall and like drop behind it into more what's left like of smoldering ruins of this manor, which is like there's only like one wing of the manor still like standing, and the rest is like smoking, and there's like this steep slope with like pine, like dead pines downhill. Yeah. That's where you find yourself. Okay. Gregor, you had an idea about what to do about the stalemate.
Okay. So the ice is frozen. Has frozen my legs here, the bottom part of my legs, and I'm looking down, struggling for a moment, looking up, seeing they're caught, seeing Auden standing there maintaining it, and I look up and over at her just for a moment, frustrated, and I've still got both my hands are full, but I will, first I hook a thumb up and basically raise my my helmet just a bit so you can see my face, which is kind of a bit more solid than usual right now. And I look down, I look over, and I just sort of a smile comes across my lips, and I just sort of look down. I look back up to Auden, and I just say, "It's going to be okay." And I twist, and you hear this and that same sound as when my armor comes together, and two clanks, and I lift my legs up out of my boots, which I have detached from the rest of my being for the nonce, step up onto the ice with these blue bare feet, and run both blades up toward these monsters.
So, I mean, they are at a severe disadvantage here, right? The thing that you're doing there, what's problematic about that is this directly attacks you're basically directly attacking your own kind of structural being. So I think I need you to make a Defy Danger Constitution check here.
Okay. Now, if I go down defending the person I am pledged to serve, then that so be it. Defy Danger Constitution. Looks like I'm going down defending the person I'm pledged to serve.
Tell me how you take them out.
Okay.
Because you do that definitely.
So it's like dashing forward. You can see that I'm even just sort of wavering a little bit in and out as I'm charging, my teeth gritted, my eyes ablaze.
And Auden, you get to watch this. Like, I think we see this from your point of view, like kind of removed from the from the battle kind of a bit, right? That's the point of view we're getting this from.
There were how many left? 2 or 3?
3.
Okay. So
one severely, like almost like a wound already.
So this looks like a thing. It's almost like in slow motion, probably, as we're seeing it. As I dive forward, and as I come at them, again teeth gritted. Again, I bring my head down, and teeth gritted. I still come into a little bit of a smile, and I leap up into the air, in much the way that they did. As I come toward the first
and I think
one.
there's like we see like entire pieces of your armor loosen and fly, like drift away, and see your translucent or half translucent ephemeral being beneath it. Yeah,
exactly. And so it's like so as I'm leaping forward, and you see this sort of this image of even just sort of a guy with long hair and a tunic, basically under this thing, and just coming forward, plunge this sword down behind the one in the middle, as sort of leaping down just behind its neck, wrenching down and twisting to tackle it as I come down, swinging the axe around in my other hand to knock the head off another.
And as you do that, how do you further disintegrate yourself by doing that?
I think that as that happens, more pieces of armor just sort of clatter and fall off. And I think that just parts of me just sort of, it's almost like a visual, the miasma that is constantly sort of flowing a little bit around me seems to just sort of continue to dissipate. And parts of me are just sort of in a way that was done popularly in a movie earlier this year. In case anyone has not seen it, bits just start flowing away like sand as I come forward, and just sort of pull off the head off of the second, and to come around to the third. Just sort of step up as there's most of me is exposed at this point, as a lot of my armor has come off as you see me, and I look very much like I did in life, only more sort of very pale bluish skin and white hair.
Then naked.
Well, for the most part, yes. I think I probably have the whatever, the PG-13 clothing on. Medieval clothing underneath a little bit, but for the most part, otherwise naked. And just step up to just around that part near its back where it just can't reach, and just like bring up, and I bring the axe down, and as I do so, splitting it down the center, fire erupting. I think the fire erupts as this thing falls apart, and when it comes back down, you cannot see me anymore as the last piece of armor clatters to the ice.
Yeah, so that's how your self-proclaimed guardian, Auden, disintegrates himself in killing all of these. You definitely need to roll the Dead Awakened dude. You died here. Like, I'm not going to do you damage. You're just dying here.
Okay.
With that failed con roll. So you're welcome to roll Dead Awakened.
Oh, okay. I thought for a second. Oh wait, I thought we weren't doing that. Okay, the Dead Awakening. Here we go. All right. Is there an attribute associated with this or no?
No, it's a straight roll. But you can just click on the move name. It'll do it for you.
7.
Yeah, on hit, you're restored with half of your maximum hit points. On a 7 to 9, pick one from below.
So either permanently lose a bond, permanently mark a ability, permanently cross off with 1 radiant.
Yeah, think about that for a moment. On, you're alone. I mean, you look around, right? Sivna has sunk to the ground, not far from you, but seems to be completely out of it. And there is the fiddler that's hiding behind the tree. That's about it. And now it's like eerily quiet again. As Gregor is gone. What do you do? You're muted still.
She's gonna call out to the fiddler and tell him to help her carry Sivna to somewhere with cover.
Yeah, he looks and he comes over like half ducked and runs to Sivna and like, oh no, are they okay? Are they? And puts like an arm around underneath their arm, and yeah, Sivna seems to be completely out of it. And Fiddler like pulls you up, Sivna, and starts supporting you. And yeah, Auden, where do you go? Like, yes, like Fiddler is going to take care of Sivna and bring them with you. There's like this heightened little ruin before you. There's like these smoldering ruins of bone and armor. I think Gregor's armor just vanishes in whiffs of smoke.
I guess we'll try to get up on that in that ruin and just kind of like make basically.
I think what we see is like you crossing the ice field that you've created next to like those smoldering ruined bodies, with the fiddler like shouldering Sivna behind you, right? As you like nobly, majestically walk across the ice.
And I think the closer that we get to the ruin, I just start screaming.
Yeah.
Just it's not like a terrified scream. It's like a scream of like agony almost.
Yeah, and I think the fiddler is just like trying to comfort you. I think he's like brushing over your head, over your hair, right?
Yeah. I've got hair.
And he's like trying to. It's this weird thing where he's like you at the same time as you're screaming, he's like talking really calming and quietly to you, but it's having no effect. But your screams are also not having any effect on him. It's like for if anybody alive was here, they'd be like super creeped out by that scene. But he's and you walk up to the ruins, and the ruins are they're almost like a burial chamber. Like it's like a crypt. That's what it reminds you of. And there's like this little stone entry door. What do you do? And there's like a screaming and a whispering, a screaming Sivna with a whispering fiddler behind you. I think that they were like stopped at the foot of the ruin.
I'm gonna go into it.
So as you approach it, it's a heavy stone slab of a door, and it's got like all these got like all these old, and it's partly overgrown, right? With these reeds that are half dead themselves. You push into that slab, or are you trying to enter it?
Yeah, she's gonna try to enter it because she's looking for cover for them for a while until Sibna can recover. Whatever's going on with her, with them.
You push into it, and like you have to put some weight behind it, but it does open. It's not like it's locked or anything. And we get this like gust of wind, this as you push into it. It's darkness behind it. What do you do?
I'm gonna go further in to see if like it's somewhere we can stay for a couple hours.
Yeah, it definitely does sound like you're studying the ruins now.
Oh.
Nice.
Auden doesn't know anything.
No, so you open it. And what was your bond with Sivna again?
Sibna was a noble soul and in the world before, and Auden is going to protect that from the corruption of this world.
And so tell me a bit about what's this corruption that you're fearing that might endanger Sivna?
I guess just everything, because I mean, Sibna's out there screaming.
Yeah,
and it's
like,
kind of out of it. So,
is there something you remember that if you like? So you knew Sivna to be a noble soul, and like in terms of legends, right?
Yes.
And with Sivna now, was there a legend associated with that always threatened the noble soul of Sivna?
I don't think so. I think it's more just like right now, Auden just wants to find them somewhere to rest and be out of like whatever's coming.
I know what you want, but you're not getting what you want here, idea.
I know.
That's why I'm asking.
I don't know what you're at. Like, I don't think there would have been anything that just the world in general is a threat.
Yeah, I think you open this chamber. And it's actually a crypt, you realize. And there is a there's a sarcophagus barred in there. And it is open. And there's a man standing to the father's side, and he turns around, and he's like all clothed in this warrior garment, and like we hear from the outside this muffled screaming, right? He turns around and it's like this cracking of bones as he like seems to come out of a posture that he's maybe held for centuries. And he turns around. Who are you? And what do I hear? What sweet sound do I hear? You've brought her right to me?
I hear nothing. Nothing at all.
And he steps closer to you and like looks you up and down. Well, finally free. Finally free, and with this gift, how should I ever repay you, witch? What do you do?
Ugh, she's just gonna be like, "You'll leave me and my companions alone."
But you've brought her right to my doorstep. I can hear her sweet screams. The screams that I wanted to hear back when I was alive.
I don't know what to do. If I would just book it out of there.
I mean, as you like try to turn away, right? He grabs your shoulder and he's like, no, wait. You can rest here. I've rested here for the longest time. It's not the nicest place, but stay. And he gives you like this soft pad on your shoulder, being like, you can stay here. That's the least that I could do for you. And he pulls a sword and walks out of the crypt.
She's gonna chase after him.
Gregor!
Hey, what up?
You remember where we last, where you last rested? It wasn't quite at the Might Land yet. It was this overhung. That's where you wake up.
It was.
How's dying?
It was interesting. It's kind of like it's kind of like going on holiday, except you don't get to choose the destination. No, I think that there was. I think for a bit it felt as though I was reliving some part of the end. That where there's sort of flames falling all around me and all manner of masonry as I'm trying to ride forward towards something I have no idea what it is. As it's like the landscape is I can't quite so much see but feel the landscape almost, I want to say rolling up or pulling away behind me, kind of almost as if into a singularity, like I'm trying to run from this nothingness. Just trying to attach myself to whatever tiniest bit of my past I can, and I don't have many. And then...
Does this trigger a memory? Are you trying for that, or?
I wasn't specifically trying for it, but it could. It could.
Yeah, maybe think about that for a moment, as you like come back and collect and actually become aware again. Okay. Because I imagine like you might even see Gregor like sitting there at the resting place you were last at, right? And it takes really long time for you to even like move.
Sitting there by the frozen waterfall. That's right. I remember what it was.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you Legionnaire, as you're like, well, what do you actually do on the slope of this ruin? You don't actually know whatever happened here. You know, down below, the narrow streets down below are filling with water more and more. You can still hear the rushing of the ocean into the land.
What could you clarify what you mean by what do I know?
You need a summary of what you know, or what do you mean?
I mean, am I declaring what's happening, or
you can say what you're doing?
Oh, okay, friends. I thought you were asking like, what do you know about this area? And I was like, oh wait, hold on, I'm confused.
Oh yeah, no, you don't know much. Like what you see is like off way into the distance. There's like you see the tops of a castle up on a mountain down here. If you look at the in Roll20. And you can see like a sort of reddish stretch of forest and a more doused in blue fog, some kind of plains at the foot of the slopes. And I think as you're looking, what you also see is like from those far in the distance of those blue fogged lands, there's an eruption of fire, like a brief flash one, right? And like billowing smoke after that. It seems to be far away, you know.
All right. I mean, normally I'd be like, right, let's go. But the Legion is exhausted. I've used up all my reserves. Somehow I'm still me or us for this case in point. So we're going to try and find somewhere we can just catch a breather and take a break. So I'll be looking around, hoping that somewhere I could just perch, where we can just close our eyes and just breathe ourselves for a minute and reassemble what's inside and reassess where we are.
I think what you find is like you walk the slopes for a while to find such a place until you come upon what is like a small little ruin where you're gearing up for, oh no, this need to face something, and I'm no condition to face anything right now. But then you realize all those, like, there are people inside, but they're all in complete lethargy.
Explain what you mean by lethargy.
Like they're just standing there like that. Or sitting with their head down, or like leaning with their head against the ruin. And strangely enough, there seems to be a place in a weird kind of company where you could just sit down with them and rest.
And I guess I'll do that. I'll find a wall that looks a bit abandoned. I will fold our arms, and then we will lean back upon it, and we shall lessen our head. So we look at part of the furniture while we catch our breath and just take a moment to just not be here for a while.
Nice. Auden. Or like we have this beloved old warrior enemy of Sivna who's walking out of his crypt too, with his sword drawn. What do you do?
Just gonna run after him and try to grab him and freeze him if she can grab him.
I mean, he's like you grab him by the shoulder or by the arm, right? And he like turns at you and is like, "What?
You're not going near them."
It's time I repaid them for what they did in life. I will now do unto them in death.
No, you won't. Not today. And I'm gonna try to cast the same spell that I did that one time in the dungeon or wherever we were. That was like freezing them solid.
Oh, the freeze time spell?
Yeah, sure. Let's try that.
What are you trying to get out of this?
I'm trying to I'm trying to turn them into a popsicle, basically, completely frozen, just them.
He will have time to react though. Like, this is not an instant spell, right?
That's fine with me. I don't
Okay.
know what else to do.
Yeah, go for it. I think, this is what happens, right? I think you let him walk past you to get the opening, the chance to actually cast the spell, right? So he doesn't notice. And he walks towards Sivna and Fiddler, and Fiddler is like only now just realizing that someone like is coming with the drawn sword, and he's like, "Oh no!" And this is when when he's like, "What? No!" and whips around and buries his sword in your midsection, Auden.
Okay, I'm fine with that. We're
Are
all
you?
dying today.
Yeah, I think that kills you.
Okay, bye. Bye, guys.
Roll
You almost
Awakening Dead. And this is the thing, right? First off, he turns around and with like one quick step is near you and shoves his sword into your belly, and just like this really ugly grin on his face, and it's like, backstabbing witch. This is what you get. And the sword feels not right. That's the thing that's happening here. It's not just that you're being like impaled by a sword, but you're undead. So who fucking cares, actually, right? No, this is something else. Like, you feel the sword draw and eat into your essence as you like dissolve around it.
Deuces, I guess.
I'm very tempted to say we'll end it here today because we got a couple more minutes to do like end of session stuff then. Unless there's something else someone still has or needs.
I figured out my memory, but I don't know if you want to end with it or not.
Well,
we can give it a shot.
Sivna, you had something you wanted to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm gonna book a plane ticket and come to your house and kick down your door and, I don't know, break something important to you.
Well, I guess that's the danger I live with.
Yeah.
You almost had a TPK today.
That might be a TPK tomorrow.
If you want to go for that memory, yeah.
All right. So I describe it first, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This will be brief, hopefully. It's so the actual memory and the vortex thing is not exactly part of the memory, but the riding on horseback is the. I actually have what I hadn't initially noted is that there actually is someone. We are fleeing from something, and it is someone is also on the horse with me, but I can't quite make out who that is. We get a bolt of energy slams into us. We are knocked off the horse. We tumble over, and parts of my armor are coming off at this point as a result. And I just sort of slowly I quickly sort of get back and kneel back up, and this person, whoever it is, I have them in front of me on the ground, and they seem to be not completely well. Something is wrong with them there, but I tell them, I'm sorry. This is from being alive. I'm sorry. I thought I could stop them. I thought I had it. And then there's this loud sort of rattling behind us, this and a slam of some kind, as of something, the sound of perhaps loud footfalls coming up, approaching from behind. And I just sort of stand up as this my helmet is bent. I take it off and I throw it to the ground, and just sort of shaking my head, looking down, and then I kind of half smile, and in a way echoing the way that I just did, I say to this individual, "It's going to be all right." And I turn, and as I'm turning, that's when the memory ends. As I turn to face the thing, whatever it is. And would that be sufficient for me to attempt a...
Yeah, this person was sick with something?
Yes, there was something wrong.
There was a curse upon them?
Quite possibly, yes.
Yeah,
was a way
okay.
in which they had been severely harmed and debilitated. And
who else carries the curse of Sivna?
This is an excellent question. No. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, did you roll?
There we go. So that's a 7. On 7 to 9, I choose one of these things, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Your recollection is inaccurate, or reveal what you remembered incorrectly, or your recollection is incomplete. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's incomplete.
All right. Just note that down. Okay. Then let's quickly do end of session stuff, right?
Righto.
And yeah,
As
Rachel needed to.
yeah, she just had to head out, and I just read the story real quick as we're getting in there.
So, any bonds anyone want to say, or like one bond that they feel is resolved?
Possibly. Let me just get us together here, and yay. There we are. I would say that quite possibly I might have... now, I have this bond with Auden. Gave to me my current weapon in the days before the end, sworn to use it in their service. I will uphold that vow. I think that Gregor believes that he did that, and the weapon is probably no more at this point. So I think that might have resolved it. What do you think?
Yeah, if you feel that way. Would like a follow-up bond be something about you need to rearm, or what do you
Yeah, I'm not. That's the thing. You got to figure out what I'd replace it with.
Yeah, but you don't need to do that right away. You just need to do it until next session, beginning of next session. So yeah, that's 1 XP for you. Any other bonds from anyone? It's kind of a little bit hard for the Legionnaire because you had no chance to really attack.
I haven't actually met any of the characters yet, so I don't know.
I feel like maybe I could say that the one that Auden has with Sivna could be complete because she saved them from the muck, and then she died trying to save Sivna. So
yeah, so like maybe this bond becomes more about something. Sivna must be lost, or because that's what you probably need to assume is what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could dig it.
Quick question: are we all now separated?
No, Auden will wake up at the same spot where Gregor is.
Oh, okay.
Then there's no alignment, but there are drives. What do you each like? Maybe read out your drive, Gregor?
I think I nailed mine, but I need confirmation, which is, if I can just get to it. Where was the word? Oh, there it is. Dramatically ignore precedents, tradition, and history. Drowning the mother of wars because I don't care if she tries her crap with me. Sounds like a fair enough reason.
I mean, I leave the end judgment by with the players usually, but I think that sounds perfect.
Sounds good to me.
Well, you, Gregor, what's your drive?
My drive is destroy something corrupted by the fall. I feel.
I think you did.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, not least of which yourself.
Yes, exactly. I did that multiple times.
And Auden, your drive?
Restore something tarnished, which she did not do.
Yeah, like however you want to read freeing this warrior.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I feel like he has not been restored. He's still pretty evil.
Then we have, and I'll check with Rachel in between sessions for her XP. But then we have a couple of group questions to quickly answer. Did we destroy something corrupt and dangerous?
Well, I did. So I don't know about you guys.
I mean, you definitely destroyed the whole narrow streets, like a full place. And I think you destroyed those weird guardians that were set up.
We destroyed something dangerous only to release something more dangerous.
Yeah, but that's a different matter.
Yeah, that's entirely.
You all get an XP for that. Did we take, liberate, or create a powerful or useful treasure?
Nope.
No.
Did we learn something important about the world before the fall?
Yes. From your flashback.
Also, we learned that there was a mother of all wars.
Also, there's a mother of all wars.
And that warrior dude.
Yeah, so it's another XP for everybody.
Yay!
Did we take a step toward building a new world in the ruins?
Not really.
I don't think so.
I mean, I flooded a place. Does that count?
Does it?
Doesn't it?
I don't know.
I'm like, I'm clearing the way. It's like excavation.
You're creating a reservoir.
Creating a reservoir for the water we'll need for when we make a new water. So
it's salt water, right? It's salty black ink ocean water.
Yeah, for like sea creep things that we grow, like sea rice.
I don't you tell me if that counts or doesn't count.
I personally think it counts because I just want XP. I don't have a new like straight up give me XP. I'm so close to leveling up twice in one session.
Don't you have enough XP from all your rolls?
No, I'm actually nearly at level 3 from the XP from all my rolls. I'm like, kind of still push a little bit first. I'm like, yes, I have returned.
I don't know. Like, what do your two fellow players say? Like,
no, that's not.
I don't think we did. But...
No, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Lloyd.
Sorry. I would have let you have it,
And this was like, oh yeah, I suppose I said yes. Then I guess you both said yes. What's the last question?
That was the last question. Did we take a step toward building a new world in the ruins?
Oh, nope.
No. Okay. If you did level up, I think all 3 of you died, so you're at a resting place. You can actually take your level ups until next time.
Is it 7 plus your level, right?
Yeah. So first level is 8. Or, well, second level is 8. Third level is 9. And so on. Yep.
Cool.
All right, and let me know what you're going for. You can take your time till next session. What you want to go for, and we can also talk about it. But I think hand over to you.
Excellent. Well, that was a heck of a thing. That was really enjoyable. It was so much happened, and I like that because it was even just as part of it is a contrast to the previous session, where we had a lot of talking and development. And this time there was a lot of action, and I like that we get in a campaign we get things of different flavors, episodes of different flavors, and I like that a lot. And so we are going to go back around and let everyone say bye and tell us what they thought of this session and where they can be found online and anything else they want to plug. And I think I will start with Lloyd, as he did not get to do his intro, so we'll start with his outro.
I listen to everyone that I am amazing and I kill gods by myself, and I don't need the rest of the players. They just roll the next one, and see you guys next week.
Legionnaire is remarkable. And then on to Charlie.
Charlie, you can find me on Twitter at Diet Cream Soda. That's about all I got going on.
Awesome.
My Twitter.
Awesome. And do you have any thoughts about the session? About how...
A lot happened. A lot of death happened. It was fun though. I enjoyed it.
I think we've all got to process a lot right now. I think that's a good thing. Much death, but yet it continues. And our GM Matthias.
Yeah, you can find me at MTHSBLGR on Twitter, and you can find me tomorrow, about 2 hours earlier than today, I think, on Katie Phases channel. That's twitch.tv/KATYFAISE, where I'll be running Hearts of Wulin, which it's a wuxia melodrama. It's a new Powered by Apocalypse game that'll be kickstarted next year, and it's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. And you can find me on Tuesdays on Pro Restarters channel, playing a really messed up angel in Apocalypse World, and I'm running on Sophie May's channel on Thursdays. Autumn of the Merry Maidens, a Monster Hearts 2 campaign. I think that was it. And session, yes, I was like that. I got to kill 3 of you. Awesome. And it's an important part of the mechanics in this supplement. So I'm glad we got that down and now know what that feels like and can explore that further. Yeah.
Death. So much death. All the death ever. Well, thank you so much for running. Thank you all so much for playing. This was really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. As for me, I'm Jim Ryan, and on this channel, Channel Otherdoc, tomorrow we are having the third of the one-shots of Durance. That'll be happening tomorrow early evening. And this time I'm going to be using the mechanics to try to see what happens if we apply them to the setting of Vampire the Masquerade. Kind of probably more as it was in the late 90s than anything else. That's kind of where I come from on that. But I think it's an excellent game that normally is used for determining power struggles between people in a prison colony in deep space. But see there, it's real. It's an actual book, and it is glorious. So we're going to be playing this. This is the game we shall be playing tomorrow. But it's got sort of a ladder that has different power structures on it, and I think that can be adapted to 2 different sects of vampires, and I want to see how that goes. And just sort of, it's a bit of an experiment, if you will. And so I thought that might be neat. I may be tweeting out in a little bit an image of the ladder I'm using that I modified, if anyone's interested in that. But that'll be tomorrow. And of course, on Tuesday evenings, I am on Off the Table playing in their Urban Shadows campaign. And that's going to get my character is kind of in between a rock and a hard place right now, and so I'm very interested to see how that comes out. Once more on Fridays and Saturday mornings, I do video games, and then we should be approximately 2 weeks hence, hopefully, doing the next session of the Cold Ruins of Lastlife, because this is every other week. As scheduling issues and holidays and all that permitting, so there is always some conversation we have to have with respect to it, but ideally, hopefully, in a couple of weeks, and so that's when that will be coming up. If you folks want to find me online, again, I am Otherdoc, OTHERDOC, on Twitch and on Twitter. And my website is JimYesThatJim.com, where you can find links to all my various projects that are mostly audio, but then also written. I have links there to a short story that I released a little while ago. And I also have a link to that down on my Twitch page. If anyone wants to go and check that out, it's like $1 on Amazon, or if you've got I think Kindle Unlimited, you can read it for free. It's a sort of little silly story I wrote. And then also on that page, and also from a link down on this page, I've still got plenty of openings right now for the one-shots in December that are going to be going on. And again, those are always on Sundays, early Sunday evenings, Eastern time. And so if you want to check those out, again, you can either click the link below or go to JimYesThatJim.com and click on the on game sign up, I believe is what I named that particular link. It's near the top of the page, and it'll give you the schedule and more detail about each game. So feel free to check that out, and just see if you want to play. And that, I believe, shall be that. Thank you all so much for watching. This was glorious. I heartily enjoy Dungeon World, and I love seeing what people do with it with different settings, and this one has been awesome. It's been doing all the right things for me thus far, and so I'm enjoying that a great deal. I will see you folks later. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden. Farewell.
Bye.